In this video, we'll be counting down the best things to do in Zurich, Switzerland. A city too often dismissed as boring, but if you know where to go, is anything but. And yes, we'll be saving the sweetest for last, as well as the link to a free map of all these activities if you stick around until the end. Now, in case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel advice from someone who's been there, done that, so be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. We'll start with an obvious one, which is to simply explore Zurich's Old Town, or Altstadt. This is the section most first-time visitors will no doubt stick to. Dating back to Roman times when Zurich was known as Turicum, today the winding, narrow streets and alleys are lined with centuries-old buildings housing small boutiques, art galleries, cozy cafes, and traditional Swiss restaurants. Now, I have to say, the main stretch of Old Town from Zurich's central station to the lake is absolutely best explored on foot, discovering all the postcard views and sights as you go, but in case you need a little help, here are some highlights to guide you. First off, you can't miss the Niederdorf and Oberdorf, better known by locals as the Dörfli, or the Little Village. And true to its nickname, this pedestrianized portion of town feels like a cozy little village far removed from the modern hubbub just a few streets away. Especially during the festive period when it's home to the city's oldest Christmas market. No visit to Zurich is complete without a little traipse around its picturesque streets and courtyards, ducking into little shops along the way. Though beware that the prices here at restaurants and bars will definitely have the typical tourist markup. Still, the atmosphere is great, so be sure to go for a wander. Neumarkt in particular is one of my favorite picturesque streets. On the other side of the water, another absurdly photogenic street that you cannot miss is Augustinergasse, which is one of Zurich's most colorful spots for a frolic. Once home to medieval artisans, today it's home to a number of, again, mainly tourist-oriented shops and restaurants. But a unique feature here to admire are the wooden bay windows, which serve both the practical purpose of letting in more light, as well as the nosy purpose of being able to see who is at your door from above. You'll find some other cool must-sees on either end of this street as well, including St. Peter's Church, the oldest church in Zurich, best known for its massive clock face, which with its 8.7 diameter is actually the largest church clock face in Europe. On the other end, you'll find Bahnhofstrasse, once a moat, today Zurich's ritziest shopping mecca, with retail representation from pretty much every famous brand you can imagine. A walk along here is a must for those who want to shop their budgets completely away. After all, this is widely considered to be among the world's most expensive streets. But if this Zurich activity sounds ever so slightly out of your tax bracket, fret not, one of the best things to do in the Old Town is to admire the many free views. So make sure at some point during your trip, you also admire the view from Lindenhof. Aesthetically, Zurich is pristine, with postcard views all over the city, the most famous of which can be found on top of the Lindenhof, a historic hill offering a peaceful retreat from the city's hustle and bustle. This park dates back to the Roman era when it was a crucial military stronghold, strategically located to oversee the Limmat River. Today, it's the perfect spot for a perfect photo, with ample park space too if you want to stay a bit and relax. The surrounding streets to get there happen to be pretty beautiful as well, so it's safe to say this needs to be part of any Zurich itinerary, especially if you combine it with a visit to the nearby Giacometti frescoes, found in probably the world's prettiest police station entrance hall. This free gem is open Wednesday to Friday for a few hours only, where you can sneak a peek so long as you enter with a guide. For another amazing viewpoint a little further away, you can also enjoy the view from the Pauli Terrasse, a somewhat hidden gem on the ETH Zurich campus, offering sweeping views of the Old Town and the surrounding mountains. Getting to this view is a bit of an experience too. For a small fee, you can hop on the super cute red Polybahn funicular, which dates back to 1889 and takes you on a short but scenic journey of about 2 minutes up to the terrace. Be sure to come here around sunset time for optimal magic points. And don't miss some of the cool nearby attractions like the Zurich Natural History Museum and the stunning architectural gem of the University Law Library, whose ground floor is open to visitors. Now, if you don't mind paying and working a bit for your view, then while you're exploring Old Town, I'd say it's definitely worth a visit to marvel at the Grossmúnster. As far as iconic landmarks go, this church is probably one of Zurich's most recognizable. With its signature twin towers and vibrant stained glass windows, this storied church is said to have been founded by Charlemagne himself, with the original iteration completed in the 13th century. Today, highlights for visitors include the crypt, which is the oldest part of the church and houses the original 15th century statue of Charlemagne once displayed on the church's southern tower. The main draw for most visitors, though, is the climb up to its northern tower viewing platform. A grueling 187 steps that's a bit of a workout, but worth it for the panoramic views of Zurich and the surrounding Alps on a clear day. While we weren't allowed out on the terrace during our visit, the views were still great once I got up on my tippy toes. And while you're in a churchy mood, another activity to check off your list while in Zurich is to visit the Fraumúnster and its cloister. Founded in the year 853, this church began as a convent for aristocratic women, which gave the church its name, Fraumúnster, meaning women's minster in German. One of the standout features of the church is its slender green spire, which is visible from many parts of Zurich and makes it one of the most recognizable parts of the Zurich skyline. But the interior is the main draw for most visitors, particularly the stunningly colorful stained glass windows inside by Marc Chagall, installed in the 70s depicting various biblical scenes in Chagall's distinctive dreamy style. There's also a small museum in the crypt showcasing various archaeological finds as well. But if you ask me, the most beautiful part of a visit here is actually a hidden gem that's totally free to see: the gorgeous cloister from the original abbey found just outside of the church. Along the walls, you'll find murals depicting scenes from the founding of the Fraumúnster and Zurich's medieval history. You'll find Zurich's Stadthaus next door as well, which often hosts free exhibitions in its gorgeous galleries. All that said, if you're looking to learn a bit more about the history of the city and country, a can't-miss activity in the Old Town is to visit the Swiss National Museum. Ideal for those curious about Swiss culture and history, or Swisstory, if I may. Housed in a grand castle-like building complete with towers and turrets, inside this museum you'll find a variety of displays offering a comprehensive look at Switzerland's history, from prehistoric times right up to the present day. One of the museum's highlights is its collection of decorative arts, which includes stunning furniture, ceramics, and various cultural dress. But there are also some fantastic exhibits on Swiss cultural history as well. All that said, if it's art you're more interested in though, another cultural must-do in Zurich is to check out the Kunsthaus Zurich, the largest art museum in the country, spread across 4 buildings conveniently linked by an underground passageway. Inside you'll find a collection of artworks that spans from the Middle Ages to today, with a bit of everything, whether you're a fan of Baroque masters like Rembrandt and Rubens, or more modern pieces from big names like Picasso and Chagall. A special emphasis is of course also put on Swiss artists here, with prominent works from Alberto Giacometti and Ferdinand Hodler. But my personal favorite has to be the more immersive digital installations in the museum, like the Glacier Dreams installation by Rafik Anadol, and the Toricum Pixelwald by Swiss artist Pipilotti Rist, made up of 3,000 dreamy lights. Now, while most points of tourist interest are located in the Old Town, also known as District 1, Zurich is actually made up of 12 districts, meaning there's a lot to see beyond the very central core if you have the time. For instance, you can venture out to District 2, which is honestly super close to Old Town, but hey, let's start small here. A main tourist highlight in this district for fans of football or soccer is the FIFA Museum, which celebrates the rich history and culture of international soccer, featuring a fun collection of memorabilia and various interactive games. Directly across, you'll find the striking Enga train station, known for its unique granite facade. And elsewhere in the district, you can also find Rita Park, the largest park in the city, with its beautiful Museum Rietberg, which is home to an art collection from around the world. Moving out towards District 3, you can also head out on a trip up to the Uglier mountain, home to some of the best sprawling views and trails in the city, easily accessible from Zurich's main train station. But if it's a more modern side to Zurich you're looking for though, I would recommend you head out to explore District 5, also known as Zurich West. In many ways, this part of the city is seen as the cool kid cousin to the pristine and regal Old Town, with many unique public art pieces like large-scale murals and industrial sculptures, as well as some great thrifting opportunities and a buzzing nightlife scene. A highlight here are the Viaduct Arches, a trendy shopping district built beneath railway arches, featuring boutiques, markets, and fun eateries. There's also the Frau Geroldsgarten, an urban gathering space that becomes a big terrace in the summer, and a mini Christmas market in the winter, with regular live events and music. You can find it directly below the unique Freitag Tower, which is made up of 19 stacked shipping containers. But I have to say, it's not all just cool kid alternative stuff here, because Zurich West is also where you'll find the Swiss Finance Museum, a small but interactive museum about stocks, banking, trading, and financial markets. And when the intro video kicks off by blasting ABBA's Money, 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 you know it's going to be interesting. While I did enjoy a few sections like the portion about stock art, I do have to say this is a pretty small museum that's a bit far from most other sites, so not necessarily worth going out of your way for. But hey, if you're very interested, do know that this is a museum that you can visit. Now, heading northwest, you can also explore District 6, also known as the University Quarter. While largely a residential area, there are still some noteworthy highlights for visitors. You can, for instance, attend a concert or event at the Dynamo Youth Cultural Center, or hop on the Seilbahn Rigi-Blick funicular for gorgeous views up top of the city and lake. If, however, you would prefer to enjoy the water views up close, or as close as you possibly can, what I might recommend instead is to enjoy the wonders of Lake Zurich. Stretching for almost 40 kilometers at its longest point, a full lap around this epic lake isn't really feasible, unless you're a superhero, of course. But a walk along the water at some point to admire the views is a must when you're in town. The historic quays along Lake Zurich are probably the best known for this purpose, with their ideal location by the city's beautiful Opera House. But there are plenty of other great parks to enjoy all around the lake. Venture further along the right shore of the lake, for instance, and you can visit more beautiful spots like the Zurich Chinese Garden. If you manage to time your visit for the summer, you can also take advantage of the many riverside and lakeside bathing areas, often complete with amenities and stunning views, like at the Strandbad Tiefenbrunnen. Beyond pools, the right side of the lake is also home to a few more nice sites inland, like the University Botanic Gardens and the Tram Museum. But hey, if you're done with the active sightseeing, a more relaxed and scenic option is to hop on a boat cruise around the lake to admire all the sights from a new, more relaxing vantage point. There are tons of options available, especially in the summer, usually departing from Berkeley Platz. Year-round though, one of the best ways to combine your lake cruise with some sightseeing is to enjoy the scenic ride from Berkeley Platz to Kirchberg, which takes about 45 minutes and drops you right by one of the most popular tourist attractions, not just in Zurich, but in the entire country. Which leads us to our next must-do, which is to visit the Lindt Home of Chocolate. This interactive chocolate museum is housed in a sleek and modern facility next to the Lindt and Sprüngli chocolate factory in Kirchberg, where the company's famous chocolates have been produced since 1899. Today, it's home to the world's largest freestanding chocolate fountain, which stands at 9 meters tall, with an impressive 1,400 kilograms of chocolate coursing through it at any given time. And of course, a shiny multimedia museum as well, all about chocolate and the Lindt Empire, with various interactive sections that first run you through the history of chocolate and then its takeover of Europe. After that, they show you how Lindt came into the business and basically took over the world. Of course, to cover all their bases and to ensure you leave with a cultish devotion to the brand, the experience also gives you ample opportunities to taste test Lindt chocolate to your heart's content, whether it's slurping it up by the spoonful, using motion detectors to unlock mystery-flavored pieces, or plucking one flavor each of the company's iconic chocolate truffles so you can find out which is your personal favorite. You can even scan your ticket at the very end for a final chocolate surprise. Now, as one of the country's most popular attractions, tickets for this need to be purchased very well in advance. But for superfans of Lindt, I would say it's worth checking out. Beware that it can get pretty crowded, and the best part is probably all the chocolate, which can be enjoyed easily without the museum entry, so make sure to read reviews before you go. Now, as a final bonus addition to this list, I have to say, if you have the time, a great activity to add to your itinerary is to do a fun day trip from Zurich. Switzerland is hands down one of the most amazing countries in the world, so it would really be a shame to just stay in its largest city during your trip. Luckily, Zurich's amazing transport connections make it a great base for several fun spots, like Rhine Falls, less than 40 minutes from Zurich by train. Spanning 150 meters wide and 23 meters high, this is Europe's largest waterfall, with an average of over 300 cubic meters of water coursing through every second. And yes, it is as epic as it sounds. Another worthwhile day trip is Lucerne, which is also less than 45 minutes by train. With its picturesque lake setting, historic Old Town, and iconic Chapel Bridge, this is definitely one of the prettiest cities in Switzerland and definitely worth the side trip, if not a few days of exploring on its own. But beyond these, there are tons of nearby options, from cute towns and soaring mountains to more amazing lakes. All right, thanks so much for watching. You can check out this link here for that free map I promised, and be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one. I'll see you next time. Bye!